إنه لازم تكون الباسبور تاعتنا قوية وسهل حفظها عشان يعني نحن ما ننساها في أي وقت، وكمان ما نعطيها حتى لأقرب الأصدقاء لأنه يمكن هذول الأصدقاء بس بدهم منك إنه ياخذوا الباسورد وخلاص.
Des mots de passe difficiles à identifier. Ensuite, tu fais des achats sur des sites sûrs et vérifiés.
Because if it is easy, everyone can guess it.
Éviter que d'autres personnes comme les arnaqueurs ne prennent le contrôle de nos comptes pour nous arnaquer. Je crois que les empreintes digitales et la reconnaissance faciale sont plus sûres que les mots de passe.
Financial education. You can scan the QR code that is being shown now on our screen to learn more about this Utrecht Declaration that we can also serve as a guide in implementing our social and financial education program. And again, please use the hashtags when you post your photos or videos online. Our official hashtag are hashtag GMW 2024 and hashtag Aflatun Day. We hope to get more traction and influence and inspire more people to join our movement. So please use those hashtags when you post your photos and videos online. Magandang hapon sa lahat. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good lunch and I hope you had a good time connecting and knowing, gaining new friends while having lunch. So this afternoon, we will have 3 sessions coming up. And for these sessions, the focus would be on the best practices from the government, private sector, and non-profit. As you know, the partners of Aflatun are wide and diverse. Every sector has an invaluable contribution to the growth of the movement and for developing the financial literacy of our youth. So let's start with our partners from the government. We all believe that for our program to achieve scale and sustainability, we should partner with government actors that have the mechanism and resources to implement the program on a national scale. And to moderate this session, may I call on Dr. Ethel Agnes Valenzuela, ASEAN Education Advisor. Dr. Ethel is also a governing board member of the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning and UNESCO Institute for Statistics. She was also the first female director of the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or CIMEO Secretariat. A big hand to Director Ethel Agnes Valenzuela. Dr. Ethel Agnes, I mean. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Are you still with me? Okay, if you want to sleep, just go there and get coffee and come back. Okay, so I'm very happy to see our colleagues from the region. ASEAN is a community of nations, and we would like to have better social and financial literacy. There are a lot of good practices, but there are also a lot of challenges, right? So anyway, nothing is perfect. So our region is composed of over 600 million people and so diverse. We have the 200 million Indonesia, and then we have also a smaller one, Brunei Darussalam, with almost 500,000, Philippines 100 million, Vietnam 98 million, and 36 million over Malaysia and the rest. So we are really so diverse. Some are richer, some are struggling, but we are one. So today we would like to listen to the best practices. And I would like to call our panelists. I'm so happy to see them this afternoon. It's not that we see each other in Amsterdam, but we see each other here in Manila. So I would like to start by calling our presenters. Are you all here? Are you all set? Okay, I see some. So would like to start with our colleague from Cambodia. So may I please invite our speaker from Cambodia? We have Madame Mak Riksmi. I hope it's correct. She is the Director for Regulatory Policy and Risk Assessment, Department General Directorate of Banking Supervision, National Bank of Cambodia. Very pleased to see ma'am. Okay. Medyo may energy. Yan. Para inaantok ha. Okay, next. Our dear Miss Mac will actually talk about integrating financial education into Cambodia's primary education curriculum. Okay, very pretty, huh? Okay, next, ma'am, we will also listen to our colleague from Lao PDR. Our colleague from Lao PDR is Mr. Dongsa Intawong. Let's give a hand to sir. Our second speaker is the Deputy Director General of the Department of Technical and Vocational Education, Ministry of Education and Sports of Lao PDR. And he will talk about integrating financial education into Lao Vocational School Education curriculum. Thank you so much, sir. And our speaker from the Philippines. Okay. Dumating na ba sila? Okay. I will call our next speaker from Indonesia, Dr. Donna Paramita, Head of Division, Preschool, Ministry of Education and Culture, Republic of Indonesia. Okay. And si Ma'am Ariola. See. Dr. Laila Ariola is not yet here from the Philippines. Okay. DepEd not yet here. All right. Okay. So we can share about good practices of the Philippines anyways, right? Okay. Without further ado, our colleagues, our friends from Cambodia, Lao PDR, and Indonesia will be sharing good practices, maybe best practices. So we would like to hear from Cambodia. Ma'am, the floor is yours.
So again, good afternoon, Chung Rip Suwa. My name is Riatsmi. I'm the Director of Regulatory Policy and Reassessment of the National Bank of Cambodia. So basically, when you hear this word, my core responsibility is actually on regulations. It's not that about financial inclusion and financial literacy. But fortunately, I'm the member of Financial Inclusion and Financial Literacy Working Group. So I'm now dealing with the project that we are working with the Ministry of Education in order to integrate the financial literacy into the public school curriculum. So I would like to correct it a little bit. It's not only the primary school, but what we are working on is actually to integrate financial literacy into public school curriculum starting from grade 1 to grade 12. Yes. So first of all, thank you very much, Affiliates and organizations and the event partner, Visa, for inviting us. And as I know that today, what we are going to talk about is the importance of financial inclusion, financial literacy, especially among our youth. So I will start with a very high level, what we are having in Cambodia right now. So on the screen, what you see is that the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2019 and 2025. So in this national strategy, what we aim to achieve is we try to increase the formal financial service from 59% to 70% by 2025, and at the same time, reduce the financial exclusion for women from 27% to 13% by the same time. So we have heard a lot that financial inclusion is very important for the economy, for the social, everything. But in order to leverage the financial inclusion, in order to make use of financial services and products, to build a better quality of life, we need not only access to finance, but at the same time, layers of protection, one of which is the consumer protection. But consumer protection in itself is only the second line of protections. The first line should be the financial literacy. Embedding the literacy into people so that they know, they are aware of what they are doing in terms of financial service usage. This is the first line. We don't need to wait until we have the problem and then we run into the second line. So this is how we do it. So then, I don't know how to control the slide. Oh, okay, so next slide. So having known that financial literacy is important for social and economic development, the National Bank of Cambodia is running a lot of initiatives. We have the initiative with, adult people, the existing customers into the sector. So the first picture is actually the event that we have it regularly at the provinces to, create a platform to meet with local authority and also customer to tell them what is about the financial sector services and products, and what should they have in order to decide to use financial. I don't think this is like, the slide I'm going to. Yes, okay. So, but the second picture is actually the picture of our former governor, deputy governor, and the minister of Ministry of Women Affairs. We have the cooperation with the ministry in order to embed financial literacy into, women and women entrepreneurs. But the other pictures, what you have seen is that I don't need to, mention it one by one, but at the same time, the most important initiative that the NBC is running is one campaign, we call it Let's Talk Money. So this is the logo of our campaign. So the campaign is aimed to, educate youth, especially the current customer of the banking and financial sector. But at the same time, learning from the campaign, we know that not only youth, not only the existing, customer that needs financial literacy, we need to expand our scope. So then we believe that, educating children will be also another mechanism. So we create a comic book in order to, have children have extra material in order to learn about financial literacy subjects. Then we move on to another initiative. Before moving on to, this slide, I actually want to think of, one example in order to emphasize the initiative and what is the most sustainable mechanism for financial literacy. So I think I better start with some questions. And please bear with me. This question is not to, offend anyone, but it is only the question that I will emphasize what is more important about financial literacy. I think from learning from this morning presentation, I don't expect that this question would be, valid for Filipino fellows. But because we, from Asian community, from Asia culture, we share some similar, cultures and characteristics. I guess it might be true for some of our participants here. So the question is this: have you ever wondered why men and women in the same house, working couple, while men coming back home, fresh up, relax, and then just sit back waiting for the food to be set on the table, while women coming back home from earning the money, just throw away her purse, rush into the kitchen in order to get the food on the table for her husband. Have you ever seen, mother telling their daughter, saying that because you are a daughter, so that you need to learn about house chores. Sorry, I lost my English. While the same mother will tell their son, saying that because you're a son, you come back home, you eat, and then you can just focus on your homework. Is it still the same? No? See, it's not the same for the Filipino. How about Laos? How about Indonesia? Not the same? Good. I wish it's not the same. But have you ever wondered when it was the same and why? Why it was that? Because we taught people that. It was about teaching by example. Your mother, you're doing a house chore, and then you tell your daughter saying that this is what you should do. This is about teaching. Again, I'm not here to offend anyone, especially men, And the world is changing. But what I want to emphasize is that financial literacy cannot wait. You cannot wait until people are mature now, until they reach 18, to enter into the sector and then learn at the same time financial literacy. What we need to do is that we need to think of another or maybe more sustainable and more effective mechanism in order to teach financial literacy for children from a very young age. So that, gradually they grown up with a mindset like a kid, right? Right? You grow up with a mindset. You know how to save, how to manage. So for the National Bank of Cambodia, we think that, going this and going that, teaching elders, teaching existing customer is not the sustainable way. The sustainable way is that you teach children from a very young age and not teaching at home alone, but teaching wisely and publicly at school. When they go to school and then everyone is talking about money management, right? So that they have the mindset. They are free to discuss about money. It's not that the culture that say that, no, you are very young to think about money. Just open your palm and then get the pocket money and go to school. No, it should not be the same anymore, right? So National Bank of Cambodia is one of you. We think the same thing. We need to teach children. That's why we work with the Ministry of Education in order to integrate financial literacy into public school curriculum. What we do is we can do with public school curriculum, but once we see the effectiveness, I believe that private school will follow suit. So we actually started since 2017 by identifying relevant subjects in order to embed the financial literacy. But in terms of the subject, it's an option and it's choice, because I believe that financial literacy happens anywhere, especially when you use money. But in terms of selecting the subject, it is because you need to prioritize first. You cannot do it very wisely all at once. So first of all, we choose the relevant subject. And then in 2019, we move on with this project in order to create, study materials, both for teacher and student, because we believe that we cannot just go around and say to student, and somehow I support the extracurricular, but extracurricular is extra. It's not core. Make it core. Yeah. 2019, we finished, the testing grades for producing study materials, both for student and teacher. 2024, now what we're moving on is that we need to go on and produce study material for the rest of the grades. Because 2019, we select only 2 grades in order to test. So in 2024 onward, we finish all the grades remaining. At the end of the project, what we are expecting to see is that we can see that financial literacy is embedded into subjects, most relevant one. And at the same time, student and teacher, they have materials to base on. But the most important thing of the project is teacher training. We usually say, if the teacher cannot choose the financial literacy subject, they cannot teach, because they're gonna be shocked. They cannot teach their student. So if they cannot comprehend the financial literacy contents, how they gonna deliver that financial literacy content for their students? So this is what we expected to say. But what I really want to highlight here is that the NBC, the central bank, probably the BSP, the Indonesian Education Ministry, any institutions here, any organization here, you cannot do it all alone. Probably you can, but to make it more effective, you cannot do it all alone. So for the National Bank of Cambodia experience, what we do is that we work with the line ministry, the relevant ministry. We work with partners, say for example, Good Return, World Education, KUFA, because KUFA we did, we work with KUFA in phase 2 in 2019. And then at the same time, the most challenging one, I should mention it here, is about money. Having it done is about money. And I would like to convey my appreciation to Visa, because Visa has been there for Cambodian financial literacy initiative from the very beginning. So again, and I hope that Visa will stay with us for this long journey. But at the same time, not only Visa, I believe that there are some, relevant stakeholders, even the private sector, the insurance companies, the relevant association. They just try to contribute. So I think that should be all from Cambodian experience. So all in all, thank you very much, and I look forward to answer your question later on.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mac Ricks. Very interesting presentation, right? So we see the importance of culture in financial literacy, social and financial literacy, because sometimes the culture itself has to be reviewed or can be revisited, and how to make financial literacy better. So as we see, the roadmap for Cambodia is clear, and the most important message is that not one agency can do it alone. It has to be an ecosystem of partner agencies. No, this is SDG number 17, that we work collaboratively with others. We will now listen to His Excellency our Deputy Director General or DDG Tongsa Intawong from Lao PDR. Let's give a hand to His Excellency.
Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is my first time to attend this event, especially the Global Money Week. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me here and share our experience, especially what we have done so far. And I also would like to introduce myself first. I was vice president of the Technical College of Vientiane Province for 6 years, and also was a teacher. My major is accounting. I can say that I am good in accounting. I know how to do the account, and I know how to prepare the financial statements, but I am not good in saving money. Who do for me? My wife. So I can say that I have a good wife because he can save money for us. My money is her money. Her money is her money, not my money. Okay, huh? My topic today is integrating financial education into Lao vocational school education curriculum. Especially, I will talk about 5 topics or 5 points, especially the collaboration with the private sector, Ek Patana, microfinance institution, what we have done so far, and also train the trainer or TOT, and also teacher training or training of teacher. Speaker from Cambodia also mentioned about that, the very important of the teacher, and also activity process with the students, and also impact. So let's go to next slide. Yes, as Minister of Education and Sport, and also our department, especially the TVET department, you know, we under our department we have 26 TVET institutions. So at the beginning, our Lao India Entrepreneurship Training Center have cooperated with the EMI, how to do that, no, how to work between the two bodies or two partners. Especially we are currently engaged the collaborative partnership with them to integrate financial education in the curriculum. This collaboration involves the comprehensive approach, including the development of curricula tailored into the needs of our audience. We are working together to create the teaching materials that are engaging, informative, and cerebral, ensure that the concept of financial literacy are effective communicated in our TVET or vocational school. As I already mentioned, we have 26. So in the near future, we will go to other institutions. And the second one is a training of trainer. Trainer is very important also, because we have to train them. They have to know about the financial, and then they can train. As part of our collaboration with EMI, we are conducting a training of trainer or TOT program to ensure the successful implementation of financial education initiative. This specialized program is designed to equip educator and facilitator with the necessary skill, knowledge, and resources to effectively teach financial literacy to students and young people. During the TOT program, participants undergo a comprehensive training section that cover various aspects of financial education, including fundamental concept, teaching methodologies, intellective technique, and effectiveness communication strategies. They also receive guidance on how to adopt the curriculum and teaching material to meet specific needs of and learning style of their students. And you can see the picture, what we have done so far between the EMI and also the training center here. Next slide, please. The third point is training of teacher. I think if you don't have a good teacher, how we get the good student? So teacher is really important. In our Tibet institution, we also try to find the budget or the money to support the teacher development. In our department now we have the project from World Bank, project from Germany, like a Vela project, web project, something like that. We also focus on the teacher training. The training of teacher includes various key elements aimed at equipping them to with the knowledge, tool, and pedagogy approach needed to integrate financial education in their teaching practice. Include like understanding financial concept. In the near future, we are going to sign the MOU with the Ek Patana microfinance institution, also Aflaton. So we have to look at the financial concept and which module we have to add in our curriculum. And pedagogical strategies, also adopting curriculum, facilitation skills, assessment and evaluation, continuous professional development. I think especially for the teacher, you have to continue to develop yourself. You have to be the how to say qualified teacher, and also support and resources. I think I also mentioned about it. I was a teacher for 6 years. I was a vice president, but I also teach, especially about the accounting, international accounting, or financial accounting, or managerial accounting, something like that. So I think if you want to be a good teacher, you have to learn more languages, especially English, Chinese, Japanese, or Filipino, something like that. So for me, I can speak Chinese and English, and also basic Japanese. So you can communicate with me in Chinese, because I used to study in China for 5+3 years. I don't know 8 years or not, but 5 years for bachelor and 3 years for master. I did it in Chinese. So okay. Next, what we have done about the activities we have done with the students. Like in the slide, we have nice activities we have done with the student, like introduction. I think introduction also really important for them. Engage the student with the clear objective. Now, I see and I heard from the young speaker this morning, this girl and another girl. They are really good. I also would like to ask you how you to encourage yourself to protect your money or save your money. Because I have 3 children. My first daughter is 20, second is 15, third one is 4. But they also, father, can you give me money? Father, always ask money. And they are very good in spending the money. So I would like to know how to control them, how to manage them to save the money for their future. And second one is interactive learning, use the discussion game and simulation, something like that. And the third, hands-on experience, apply the concept to the budget and saving challenges. Group work is good also. Realize example, reflection, feedback, conclusion, evaluation. That what we have done with the student. And the last slide, this impact of this. The first one is knowledge and skill. Knowledge and skill. I think for me, I don't know for other patient. For me, you get bachelor, master, you are not sure you will be the competent patient, right? So lifelong learning is better for us. And behavioral change, financial stability, community contribution, interdisciplinary learning, and also lifelong learning. This impact. So what we have done so far in our country, and also I cannot say more because this is new for me. I just be the DDG or Deputy Director General since June last year. So I moved from the technical college to be the DDG, and I just work with them about 2 months. So I hope in the near future we can work together. We can cooperate in terms of this work. So last I can say no money, no honey, right? No money, no honey. So how to save your money, how to protect your money. Okay, I look forward to working with you. And also last, this year Lao PDR is the chairman of the ASEAN, and also the visit Lao year. So welcome everyone to visit Laos, and you can communicate with me or with us anytime. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Yes, Lao PDR is the chairman of ASEAN this year, and you should visit Lao PDR. Have you? How many of you have visited Luang Prabang? Cold Luang Prabang. And of course, Vientiane. Yan. So visit Lao PDR sa promotion. And finish your money in Lao. Not a good teacher for financial literacy. Okay, so from our speaker, His Excellency explained to us how it is being done, financial literacy in the education sector. There are a lot of strategies that he explained to us. Further, it's like an interdisciplinary learning. There's also gamification, maybe, and all other examples. And it's good to know that on her personal account, you know, the female, the wife, is, it seems, very financially literate, controlling his life. Okay, so no honey, no money, or no money, no honey. Okay. Now, let's go to fasten your seatbelt. We're going to Indonesia now. We would like to listen to the head of Division of Preschool of Ministry of Education and Culture, Republic of Indonesia, Ma'am Donna, Dr. Donna Paramita, will give us an overview of Indonesian financial literacy in education.
Okay, I'm Donna from Indonesia, Directorate of Early Childhood Education, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology. Okay, slide, please. It's not much slide, I think. Okay. No. Okay, my slide maybe height. So
You don't have yet the slide. Already said maybe you can Q&A first for the two speakers.
Okay, while they're preparing for the slides, if you have any questions for Cambodia and Lao PDR, do you have clarification question or everything is clear? Wow. Pass. High pass for dissertation. Okay. Yes, yes. Question. Sorry, sir. Yes, kindly stand up, introduce yourself, and then throw the question to the speaker while we're cleaning up the presentation. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah. So we do some surveys, baseline surveys, and then after a year, annually, we'll do the same survey and would compare the if there's an increase in the to check on the effectiveness. So in your countries, may we know? Thank you.
So I'll start first. Thank you very much for the question. Actually, it is a bit early for me to answer that question because the project that we are working with the Ministry of Education itself is a very long project, and up until now we haven't finished everything. But we, along the way, we actually have monitor and evaluated the effectiveness of the project. Say, for example, in phase 2, 2019, when we done, we did the teacher training and study materials for both teacher and students. We have a very sequence events going on. How to come up with those materials, whether those materials are applicable, up to date, accurate, transparent, and it's everything that is correct for our students to learn. So at the same time, before we put in place those two tested grades, the study material, we did the pilot tests. So we sent out the material. Before that, we trained the teacher how to teach those materials. And then after some time, 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, during the time. So we went back to the schools we have selected in order to monitor what is the effectiveness of this material for students who have, exposed themselves for this period of time. 2024, when we thinking of, moving on with the remaining grades, what we have seen is that, the difficulty is the system itself is evolving. The financial system is evolving. The education system and curriculum itself is also evolving. So previously, what we think of, the study material, the textbook, the teacher books, that can be enough for the teaching at schools may not be enough anymore. We, discuss with the Ministry of Education how we can do it a better way. So now what we are going to do our work is that we are going to produce, the materials, exactly the same thing with the existing material, but embedding financial literacy concept. Say, for example, previously what we learned is 2 plus 2 equal 4. It's very simple, right? But now, in order to get 4, the Ministry of Education and the National Bank of Cambodia, along with other partners and project implementers, will make sure that the student understand that if, for example, they have, 200 peso, and then now they need to, buy something with 100 peso, and then at the end of the day, they still have 100 peso. This is the concept, because basically what we learn is that we learn the formula. We try to memorize those formula from a very simple mathematics to a very complex equations like limits, like integrals, like something like this. But now what we are going to do is, now the existing one, it is still limits, it is still formulas, it is still equations. The new one, the new material will be the same thing, limits. But in order to come up with these limit equations, what you need to understand about real life situation, about money management to come up with. With the ministry, what they have changed is they need to review and revise the study material once every 3 years. So now what we are doing is we are going to produce a new material along with the old material and put it into pilot tests for some schools, some selected schools. And then in the next 3 years, we will come up again looking at these students about financial literacy levels comparing to the other school. So what is the level and what is the effectiveness? If we can find out that actually the new book embedding financial literacy concept can be better and students are equipped with a better money management skill, so we will move completely to the new one. So then this is only the proposed action plan in order to do our M&E. The previous M&E was done like, pilot test and then go back, measure that pilot test effectiveness. But now when we need to move on to another action plan, this is the proposed M&E. Put it here today, and then for the next 3 years, we'll come up again and measure what is going on, whether it's good, whether it's not. Thank you.
Let's give a hand to Mom. So she clearly explained and answered your question. So we really like the strategy of Cambodia. They adopted the next generation of Cambodians, and they have really modified the curriculum and made sure that it's relevant and financial literacy is embedded. It's a new thing, right? So we will see that Cambodians will be more prosperous because of these kinds of strategies. Thank you so much. And let's go to Indonesia now. May we have a hand again to our speaker from Indonesia. Okay. Hello again. Thank you. Okay. I would like presentation about how we are integrating social financial education into early childhood education curriculum. Okay, boleh. Next. I mix my bahasa. Sorry. Okay. Is social and financial education important for early childhood? We believe that developing social and financial values in children can foster awareness and good behavior from an early age. That's why the ability to manage finances can be achieved through financial education and changes in everyone's financial behavior. Early childhood has a financial dependence on their parents and has not been able to control their resources. So in the early childhood age is very strategic to apply social financial education from an early child in an early age. Character of financial education, social education is built through knowledge, skills, habituation, which prefer to the national curriculum, namely trust in God, and then be grateful, and then honest, and then polite, caring, respectful, sporty, curiosity, creative, confident, disciplined, independent, patient, adaptive, and responsible. Responsible. That's the value of our curriculum. Okay, next. Okay, this one is adaptation process. How the Aflatun, a value of the Aflatun is insert to our curriculum. Adoption of social financial education content into early childhood in Indonesia has the following stages. First, we assess the result of a trial implementation of social finance education in several early childhood schools as a pilot project. And then we try to integrate it into the national early childhood curriculum as one of the content that could be applied or conditioned in daily learning and activities in early childhood school. And then in the next stage, we provide training to early childhood teachers so they can implement it in their respective pod school, early childhood school. Okay, that is how we integrate with the curriculum. We have two ways. First way is comprehensive integration. So comprehensive integration is done by incorporating social and financial education content starting from the vision and mission. So including for the vision and mission of the school. And then the second way is a partial integration. So partial integration involve incorporating social and financial education content in specific areas, such as certain topic or specific skill. And then for implementation, both of strategies must be supported by like a preparing classroom, and then identify related partners, and then preparing parents involvement, and preparing habituation and exemplary activities for the children. Okay, next. Okay, the impact of social financial education is number one is for cognitive. Children can recognize the money, the function of money, and the type of money, and they can distinguish needs and wants. And then for the moral value, children are able to express good word and positive words, and then appreciative behavior, and preserve object. For example, is that about money. They can be save water, and then can be understand to save electricity, and so on. And then for social emotional, growing confidence for them in showing their skill in talent performance, want to help parents at home, begin to be interested in saving, share and help in each other. Okay, so let's next. Okay, the purpose is about wants versus need. The by the time children are 5 or 6 years old, they will be able to understand that food, clothing, and shelter are needs, while toys are wants. Learning to understand needs and wants make children aware to their choices from a very young age. It's about learn about saving and investing. While concept like saving and investing may seem too abstract or daunting to teach a kid, it is surprisingly easy for them to grasp this concept for a very young age. Okay. Next, I think is enough. Okay, thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much, Indonesia. Let's give her a warm round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. So we have also learned from Indonesia that financial literacy starts at the early stage, no? From early childhood, PAUD, they already embedded financial literacy in the curriculum. And they have also adapted some of the Aflatun's modules within the early childhood curriculum. We're, right now, the three countries that we have, they have revitalized and reinvented their curriculum, right? So from Cambodia, the next gen of Cambodia, we have also the emancipated curriculum. I recall the minister presented the emancipated curriculum, Merdeka Belajar. Oh, almost perfect. That curriculum also is something that is transformative, no, for Indonesia. And for the Philippines, DepEd, anybody from DepEd, Department of Education, sir, represent ka, sir. Okay, so Director Ariola is not here, but you know, can you say something about the Matatag curriculum? Let's give a hand to sir. Wow.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So I was accidentally representing our Department of Education, no? Considering that I am also the chief of the curriculum in DepEd in Davao del Norte. At the same time, a youth advocate and a member of the board of director of Tagum Cooperative. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that if there is no collaboration between the government, no, particularly in DepEd, as to the implementation of AFLA Youth or AFLATON in our curriculum, so this will not be successful because it's really the DepEd who give mandate to our teachers to integrate this in the curriculum. It's very easy to generate savings from our learners, but it's hard to integrate this in the curriculum, putting it in the minds of our learners, the habit of savings. Because in the AFLA youth, we are developing their savings habit. No? So how can we oblige our learners to have this financial education if we do not have teachers who will teach this in the classroom? Generating savings in the from our youth is very easy because it's the mother who give money to the children. Then the money can directly deposit that to the bank account of their learners. But in the integration, it's a transfer of habit, no? So the teacher will teach the learners about financial literacy, the importance of savings, spending, investing. That's part of the curriculum. Then the money will give money to the learner or to the children. Then the children will save it to the cooperative or to the bank. So that is why the importance of the government, no, as to the implementation of this Aflaton program is very important. Now, in DepEd, we have already a memorandum of agreement which was signed by our former Undersecretary of Education, and the memorandum, the program was implemented all throughout the country. And we have our new, as I mentioned earlier, DepEd number 21 series of 2023, the financial literacy and integration of this into the curriculum, but it's not yet been implemented in our department, no? But we have our senior high school program, of which one of the exits is entrepreneurship, of which in the AFLA Youth, we have entrepreneurship. So it's very timely. So what we did in our locality, in our cooperative, in order to really implement this AFLA Youth is we have this local memorandum between the school and the cooperative. And that way, we can implement the AFLA Youth and we can continue our advocacy of developing the habit savings of our learners. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Sir Edward. So, like a teacher, I just called anybody Ed. And presto, we have our dear Sir Edward. So, 100% right? Meron din pala Philippines. Check. So this is our panel. So in the Philippines, we have the new curriculum called as Matatag curriculum, meaning resilient, right? And in that curriculum, the approach is holistic. So it integrates also lifelong learning, financial literacy. It also has values and character education. And the way it is being implemented based on what I heard during the launch of the Matatag curriculum is there are core subject areas of DepEd, and then the integration is presented. However, there are initiatives by the Bureau of Curriculum and Learning, LDS, that they have also adapted and developed modules for financial literacy. In non-formal education, last week we had a meeting with BALS, the Bureau of Alternative Learning System, and they have developed also the modules on literacy, which also integrates social and financial literacy. So there are like life skills modules, of course, promoting it has been also under USAID project, where I am currently connected, and they funded the development and training of teachers on the new modules and curriculum. So that's in the Philippines. If you have questions for our speakers, do you want to know more about Lao PDR? His Excellency is here, Indonesia. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, here's your, sorry. Anybody? Yes. Merong clarification si ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Good to see you. Sir, nakakit ka dito. Ikaw.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to see that the financial literacy is integrated in these countries. I'd just like to clarify, because in Indonesia it's with the preschool. How about the other levels? So
Yeah,
across all countries, up to what levels have we integrated financial literacy?
For Indonesia, our model here is the early childhood. But of course, the Merdeka, ma'am, would you like to add something about integration in higher levels for Indonesia? Yeah, yes.
Yeah, preschool is early childhood education, same in Indonesia. And then we integrate it to into the next level, depend on the learning area or mata pelajaran is learning area, right? Sorry. Yes, learning area. So the social financial values is already integrated in every level in our education.
Yeah, I think it's also part of lifelong learning. Like even Vietnam has that as part of lifelong learning, and even Malaysia and the rest, like Cambodia. Do you want to explain further? But she explained already. It's embedded in all levels of education, right, sir? DepEd, yes. In higher education, with the Commission on Higher Education, we don't have a representative here, but I think that by discipline, it's by discipline. So the way it is done is interdisciplinary as well, and it can be integrated. So in all countries of Southeast Asia, there is no specific subject or standalone subject on social financial literacy, but maybe in the future. Yes, ma'am. Yes, please. Okay. But maybe other private institutions, because if you look at the government curriculum, you will not see that. But the other institutions, they're like deregulated. They can do academic freedom. They can change the curriculum a bit. So those who are in private higher education institutions can do it. So, ma'am.
Yes, I'm from the BSP. We have partnership with DepEd, with SHAD as well as TESDA. And we're currently finalizing the integration of FinEd to the curriculum from kinder to 12, grade 12, to college and to vocational, as well as to ALS. We were part of that. We are commenting on the modules. So we do the TOT to our teachers. So I guess we're into that track. Actually we have the DepEd has already issued policy for the integration. It's just a matter of finalizing the modules and the exemplars to be rolled out to the different regions in the country. So I guess we're in the same track as the other central banks and other countries. Thank you.
We're on the right track. I think based on the discussion as well last week, it can be a micro credential. Now, what is the hottest innovation is pursuing micro credentials, short courses that you can use to update your skills. So it's now being discussed with DepEd, CHED, and TESDA because they can be stackable credentials that can lead to your new course or new MA or higher education. Any comments, sir? Ongoing na daw.
Okay, relative to the statement of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, in DepEd now, we have the upcoming Matatag curriculum, no? So we are not yet implemented this, so we will implement this 2024-25. And kasi Matatag, so that's an acronym, and Ma for that Matatag is make our curriculum relevant. So how could we make our curriculum relevant if our learners, no? Kasi we are going to prepare them for future, and it should be job ready. So if you have that, so meaning to say, the concepts of Afla Youth, no? I single out this because I know the curriculum of the Afla Youth is more all about preparing our learners to job ready, no? Now, in the Aflaton, if DepEd will not implement this and will not have a partnership with BSP and other agency, it's only few of our learners who have that financial literacy concepts. It's only the Aflaton implementers, and not all of the cooperatives in the country is implementing this Aflaton. Only very few schools are implementing sa Aflaton. But if DepEd, in partnership with BSP, will downgrade these concepts on financial literacy, and I believe we can expect that our learners will have savings when they already proceed to college or even when they get old. Thank you.
So thank you so much, BSP. So it's a work in progress. So do not lose hope. So in the future, we'll have more of integration of financial literacy in our curriculum in the Philippines. And yes, we have one of the highest literacy rates in ASEAN, like almost 100. Almost all of us are functionally literate, but the financial literacy in the report is of adult financial literacy is less than 50%, right? So it's a struggle. The functional literacy, reading, writing, comprehension may be high, but financial literacy, we need to invest on that. So it's the only way that we can progress and reach our ambition natin 2040. So parang ako na yung speaker na Philippines. Anyway, so thank you very much. This is a very engaging and very good session. And let's give a hand to Cambodia, Lao PDR, Indonesia, and the Philippines na corner natin biglaan. Sorry, sir. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy your stay in the Philippines, in Manila. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our resource persons and to our moderator, Dr. Ethel, for a learning field session. And we have also learned that in most of the Asian countries, the Aflatun curriculum or the Aflatun program has served as a good springboard to introduce, to and moderator, and also token of appreciation from our friends from Visa. I would like to call on again Ms. Sylvia Paraguya, Aflatoon's Board for Asia, and also Ms. Patson Lo for Visa, and also our friend from CDA, ASIC Luz, is here as well to present the certificate of recognition. May I invite again all our source speakers and Dr. Ethel to be here in front to receive the certificate and the token. A big round of applause to our speakers and moderator. Thank you so much. And now let's go straight to the next session. This time we will hear about the lessons, experiences, and best practices from the private sector. The private sector plays a unique role in bringing financial literacy and inclusion to the grassroots and the last mile communities. This session is to be moderated by Joselito Ohaliazgo, Acting Service Director, Credit Surety Fund Service of the Cooperative Development Authority, Finance Division. A round of applause to our moderator, Joselito Haliazgo.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Lasalet. A pleasant afternoon, everyone. Are you still with us? I believe this is a very holy hour, so I hope the energy is still there. So, ladies and gentlemen, this session will allow the private sectors, the private banks, the microfinance institutions, and even the cooperatives from the Philippines and other neighboring countries to share their best practices for implementing financial education programs for children and young people. This session is also aimed to discuss the possibility of creating a consortium of private sector working on financial education and to discuss any innovative ways to introduce financial education from early years of our children. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I'm going to present to you our illustrious panel of speakers who are leaders in the respective fields of endeavors. Let's give a big hand to the Deputy CEO of Ekapatana Microfinance Institution, or EMI, of Lao People's Democratic Republic. Let's give a big hand to Bunta Bolong. I hope I pronounced that very right. Yes, thank you. It is also a privilege to introduce to you another member of the panel of speakers, the Chief Executive Officer of NATCO in the Philippines. We have Engineer Sylvia Paraguya. And of course, from a very staunch partner of this activity, we have Mr. Jeffrey Navarro, the Country Manager of Visa Philippines. So we would like to request Ma'am Pat to join us on behalf of Sir Jeffrey for the Visa Philippines. Let's give her another big hand, please. And to complete the list of our panel of speakers, we have with us the head of program of BDO Foundation Philippines. Let's give a big hand to Sir Lawrence Kasman. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 1 hour discussion on this particular session, and our speakers are given 10 minutes to present their topics, and we have the remaining 20 minutes for your various questions or issues and concerns that will be directed to our speaker. So at this juncture, without much ado, to give us the role of microfinance organization in Lao in promoting financial education in school curriculum, let's give a big hand to once again the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of EMI Lao, Mambunta Bulong.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So today I'm very excited to be here, especially about this workshop, because I come here is second time, but long times ago for microfinance. Yeah, on that time I learned about microfinance in Philippines. We have partner with card CMDI or card bank since 14 years ago. Yeah. So now I come here for Amfratun partner. Yeah. Thank you to be here. And today I will share to all of you some of we implement in Laos, especially in the school for the financial education or financial literacy for the kids and young people. I show you some video of implementation of us. Yeah, going to my video. Please, yeah. I think video is good time from here. Yeah. Yeah, that is our organization. Yeah, my organization is EMI. Yeah, EMI is a Patana Microfinance Institute. We provide loan and serving to low and medium income in the people in Laos. And why we doing financial education for kids and young people? That is part of our mission and mission. Like we want to do the education for the Lao people that we mentioned in the morning, like if the kids or the young people know how to manage their money in early year, so maybe in the future they will be the good for manage their money or their own and or life skill, something like this. So in Laos we have difficult also to teach the kids before how we can teach, because when we talk about money, nobody want to to hear, or sometimes they ask question where I can get money, where I can save money, something like this. So after we have partner with the Amfratun program, we using the Amfratun curriculums and some module that they can be how to teach them, like we implement Amfratun program on the school break, learning by acting something, and then we have provide them the financial service by EMI. We have team go to school every month or weekly. It depend on the school. If they want to have EMI service, some like saving, we have team there and we provide them something like this. So how forward EMI education forward for next future, we have we need to have scale up about financial education with the partner like Ministry of Education, like a bank, central bank, like another MFI, because in Laos now just only our organization to be partner with Amfratun. So maybe another province or another area, they don't have the knowledge about the experience about this program. Yeah, and also we will have digital type for finance products for kids, and also e-learning, something like this, too easy to them to learn. We believe that if we have more information or more knowledge for kids or young people like now, maybe in the future they can know how to manage the money and behavior change, a good way for spending money in the future. Yeah, that is all for my presentation today. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Bunta Bolong, for that. So, as you can see, even this morning, for the private sector, the best way to give innovations and provide financial education to the young ones are a collaboration by the private sector and the government. And through education, in the case of Lao, they have extended by providing capacity development to students and even to teachers regarding financial education, financial inclusion, and even providing e-learning, not considering the advancement of the technology in order to inculcate in the minds of our young ones the value of financial education. So it's a collaborative efforts. So for all the sector in for all of this financial education to become a success and be instilled in the minds of the children, we have to collaborate with each other. So thank you very much, Ma'am, again, Ma'am, once again, Ma'am Bunta. This time, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss on the role of cooperative organization in advocating and piloting financial education in the school curriculum, help me welcome once again the CEO of NATCO, Engineer Sylvia Paraguya.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to our participants who are here face to face, and also the participants online. I understand there would be more than 100 now watching us, so you better behave because they're looking at you. So my presentation is about the role of cooperative organization in advocating and piloting financial education in school curriculum. On the next slide, I'm sharing with you what is NATCO. Please move to the next slide. So NATCO is a federation of 957 cooperatives, and in these cooperatives are 7.6 million individual members, and the consolidated assets would be 368 billions. So it's a big figure because that's about more than half of the whole financial sector. Our services would be a bundle of services. We have financial services. We're like a bank of the cooperatives, and we have a payment platform. We have support services to strengthen the cooperatives. So we have a cooperative academy, microfinance innovation, and we implement core banking system with the cooperatives. On top of that, we are doing our inspection of the cooperatives because we wanted to make sure that cooperatives will aspire to adhere to the standards. And we have advocacies, and that would include the children and youth, gender and development, and the women enterprises, even integration of agricultural enterprises, diaspora program, because there are many Filipinos abroad, and we want to link them to the cooperatives and their families so that they'll have access to financial education and services. And lastly, because Philippines is number one in terms of the risk to disaster, then we have no choice but really look at climate action, disaster risk reduction. On the right side, you'll see that embedded, it's just like what Ms. Lenny said, part of the DNA of the cooperatives is really self-help. That means financial education, savings is a basic to us. And because we want to make our cooperatives be here for in the next years beyond us, we really need to bring in the youth at this point. So we have a youth sector representative in the board, that is Sophie right there, and they would hold youth congress every 2 years where the youth representatives from all over the country converge to elect their representative and even come up with their programs. There is a youth committee, which is about 6 in each island. And in every General Assembly, there is a speaker before the keynote speaker. It's very inspiring. So there is that little boy there who was the speaker before the keynote speaker in every General Assembly. And because we want to implement the children and youth, there is a unit in the structure of NATCO doing that. So I have here the staff under the children and youth, and our youth participate in the global activities. They are members in the ACUNEL, which is the network of the young leaders in the Asian Confederation, and of course in the Asia Pacific International Coop Alliance, there's a youth committee. So we provide not just financial education to the youth, but even leadership opportunities at a young age. The next slide is a legal basis of what we're doing, because the Cooperative Development Authority, which is regulating the cooperative, has a memorandum circular on laboratory cooperatives. So at a young age, they are allowed to organize themselves with a guardian cooperative who is the mother cooperative. So you see there, the children, they're attending their general assemblies, and some of the laboratory cooperatives would have their Facebook page where they show what they're doing. So right there at the laboratory co-ops, you'll see that they teach the value of thrift and savings, the cooperative values, the financial discipline, business skills, leadership. Wow. Even before financial education, it's already there. The promotion and advocating of Filipino social and cultural values, financial education, and even ecological awareness and sustainable development. So we cooperatives are fortunate because we are allowed to organize this in and out of the schools. And later on, I think the CDA, ASE, can share with you how many lab co-ops we have right now and what they're doing. So the next slide is really how we started our partnership with the Department of Education. So NATCO is one of the original founders of Aflatun, and in 2008 we had a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Education. It's not yet a memorandum of agreement. There was a memo sent by the Undersecretary for the integration of Aflatun in the schools. That was 2008. Next slide. We're able to have another memorandum of agreement in 2016, and now this is between NATCO, Aflatun already, and DepEd. So we bring in the Aflatun International as one of the signatories to this memorandum. Next slide. These are just like what was mentioned, because we are partners of Aflatun. So there are common activities that we do, like the teachers training, the provision of learning materials. We have camps to train the teachers. So a lot of things. And usually it is the cooperatives who will shoulder the cost for these trainings. The DepEd will issue the memo so that the teachers can participate in this training. Next slide. So right now there would be ongoing provision of child-friendly savings to children, because when you teach financial education, you should be neutral on where they would save. It's not very specific that you only save with the cooperatives. They can choose where they will save. It's just that some cooperatives are very active, because imagine 1 peso a day. If you do a financials, that it's so expensive. But the cooperatives, even if it's 10 pesos, they would accept. So in the rural areas, I was sharing in the press conference that the kids would go out during recess time, and because the nearest institution is the co-op, then they would save their money. And this morning, our leader shared that she has a piggy bank to put in the money. No? So it's very interesting to see these kids. That is the Aflatun what do you call that, mascot that they're holding. Next slide. So right now, from our experience, even if we started in 2008, we're just working in 158 cooperatives, because we also choose which cooperatives we will ask to participate in the program, because we want to protect the money of the children. So right now, for example, for NATCO, we are requiring them to be part of the stabilization fund system, so that they will be checked on their operations, so that we will make sure that no money will be lost. So there are, while it is integrated in the curriculum, that means many children would have received financial education inputs, there are almost 500,000 active savers only. Well, I say only because that means many heard, but this is the number of children which really put the action in terms of savings. And we have trained more than 8,400 teachers, and we're running in 2,098 schools all over country. So there's still a lot of work which needs to be done. In terms of the memorandum of agreement, it has been reviewed by the Department of Education. The legal side has been reviewed. So we're just finalizing some of the parts, and then we'll sign it off. That means we're getting a MOA every 8 years, because that's like 2008, 2016, and now we'll get it at 2024. But we need that. Otherwise, like Dr. Amogis has said, without that MOA, they will be forced to individually come up with local MOA, which is more difficult. It's a lot of work. So the next slide is because of that, we're happy that we've been invited to draft the learning guides for the K-12 curriculum, because you can see that since 2008, we've been partners of DepEd. So when they went into a review of the curriculum in 2016, NATCO was happy to be invited. And we're also happy to share that we are also a regular in the FinEd Expo of the Bangko Sentral. And right now, we already have 2 regulatory bodies, because we're regulated by CDA, and because of the payment platform, we are regulated by the Bangko Sentral. So when we become an electronic money issuer, we will be happy to pass the requirements. Next slide. So because we're now digital, so Aflatun also developed Aflatun digital learning materials for the teachers, because as explained, we have to make the teachers understand what they're doing, and the digital learning materials will be there. I hope I'm almost there. Next slide. So there's an Afla Youth, because remember, was it in Indonesia, there's an Aflatot. And then Aflatun is up to 14 years old. Then after that, you have the Aflatin, then you have the Afla Youth. So it's the whole range of financial education from the tot to the youth. And for the Afla Youth, we're trying to look at entrepreneurship. So this is a running program now in the country where we are doing Afla Youth, and one of the implementers would be Tagum Cooperative. Next slide. So as mentioned in the Utrecht Declaration, because in November last year, there was a meeting of all the partners of Aflatun. We'd like to see a future where every child has access to quality social and financial education, because when you have this, it can build the capacity of the children. They will be empowered and they become responsible global citizens. So thank you very much for this opportunity to present. Thank you for Visa.
Thank you very much, Engineer Sylvia Paraguya. So, in that presentation, ladies and gentlemen, aside from partnership, like what Lao had done in the country and collaboration with the Department of Education in the Philippines, it is noteworthy to mention that in the case of NATCO, as a private sector helping disseminate financial education, is the participation of the youth in the governance in the cooperatives, whether locally and globally. So not only they learn the value of thrift and savings, but they are trying to mold the youth and shape them to become good leaders, and in turn, of course, disseminate financial education program. And in the presentation as well, we can see that in the products and services of NATCO, it is embedded there, financial education, in order to educate the children to participate in this particular aspect. Again, thank you very much, Engineer Sylvia Paraguya. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, to present to us the role of Visa in supporting financial education for children and young people in the Philippines, help me welcome the Vice President of Visa Worldwide PTA Limited. Let's give a big hand to Patsian Lo.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you again for giving me another opportunity to be at the microphone. Before we start with the presentation slides, I want to just very quickly say I want to say off a few numbers. And this is to test if we are all still paying attention at this holy hour, as you said. 150. Though that's the number of countries that currently Visa has already made available our financial literacy resources. 150 countries around the world. 10. These financial literacy resources have been circulating for the last 10 years. And in the Philippines in particular, we started working here in 2017. 100 million. That will be the number of individuals and small and micro entrepreneurs that would have had access to the financial literacy resources that we have been sharing through very important partners around the world as well. So I'm giving you these few numbers to just bear in mind that actually the work that needs to be done in financial literacy is global, is borderless in many ways, and the work continues. It's incredible scale. Earlier on, we heard from Ms. Mark from the National Bank of Cambodia about the partnerships that we have with them as well. So you know that Visa has already been doing this work around the world and around this region. I want to share a little bit more today about what we've been doing in the Philippines. So firstly, we support, of course, the Central Bank's digital payments transformation roadmap. Why is this important? Thank you very much, Ms. Marianne Santos, and also the Central Bank for partnering with us. Why is this important? We know that digitalization is the wave of the future. And today, the digital economy in the Philippines contributes almost 10% of the GDP. We also know that the extent to which Philippines consumers are adopting digital economy and transacting digitally is significantly high. Now, the last research that we did in our consumer payment attitude study says that 83% of Filipinos are shifting to digital in terms of their transactions and payments. However, this is driven by the younger generation, especially Gen Z at 87% and Gen Y at 86%. I'm sure even today, everyone here would have done at least one digital transaction. So again, this is digitalization, and digital financial literacy in particular will be a critical pathway to how we can drive stronger and more inclusive economies in the Philippines. Now, we have in the Philippines been working very closely with a few partners. I'd like to ask for the next slide, please, so that we can share with you who they are. That's what our lawyers would like you to read. That's okay, we can move on. Thank you. So to give you a sense of what we've done in the Philippines, our primary partners since 2017 had been Teach for Philippines and Tangalang Filipino. Why do we work with them? We work with them because we believe very strongly, and I mentioned this in my opening remarks today, that stepping out of the classroom and being creative about how we bring financial literacy to the communities will be very critical. Globally, you've seen from our earlier video, we have already provided Practical Money Skills, which is a suite of resources for learning about personal money management. We also have Practical Business Skills, which is targeting small and micro businesses to upskill them in a digital economy. We have Financial Football, we have Marvel Comics that are talking about financial literacy. So all of these different tools are what we make available globally. In market, like the Philippines, what we do is we work with partners like Tangalang Filipino and Teach for the Philippines to develop really useful and relevant content that will be helpful to the communities of young people. So we started in 2017 with a theater production, actually, bringing things onto the stage. So a 45-minute long production performed in both private and public schools about why it's important to be mindful of how we spend our money and the importance of financial literacy. We also further developed that into video recordings and teacher manuals and teacher resources, because we very much believe that learning continuity is critical. Our young people don't live in a vacuum. Many of our young representatives today know that when they're talking about financial literacy, they are also engaging in it in partnership with their teachers, with their friends, with their families, and with the rest of the community. So financial education for the rest of the community is just as important, including all the financial educators that are out there. Well, 2019, 2020, especially in 2020, we all know what happened, the big C, I shall not use that word. What happened then is that we cannot continue with our in-community and live productions, and so we brought the work that we did in Lukut Lukut Bilok Bilok to the digital space. And this became a YouTube series, which is a great opportunity for us to also talk about digital financial literacy as well. And then further on in 2022 and 23, we also supported the next step of development, which was another series, this time now being broadcasted on Facebook, called Dami Mong Alam. Yes, so if you haven't seen it yet, you may be able to find it still on Facebook. The series has already completed on Facebook some time back. But we're going to give you as a preview, or rather a post view, because these have been older episodes, to give you a flavor for what is it that we had provided. So may I ask my colleagues to switch to the video, next slide.
Naalala ko kasi ang apo mong si Gwyneth eh. Siyempre, masarap pumorma, pero iniisip ko nga talaga, ipon muna bago forma. Pag may natira sa ipon, tsaka ka lang pumorma. Pero pag kulang na, pwede next month na lang.
Tama.
Diba?
Kaya mga iyos at iyas, tatandaan ninyo ang sinabi ha, ipon muna bago forma. Muli, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Miss Salvi Duplito, sa pagpayag na makasama namin dito sa aking vlog. Muli, mga iyos at ihas, maraming salamat at huwag niyong kakalimutan na hikayatin ang mga kabarangay ninyo na manood ng aking vlog dahil sa aking vlog, lahat kasali. Paalam!
I love Lolo Sali and that character. And this was an example of what we did with Lukod Lukod Bilo Bilo. Now we're going to show you another clip, which is what we did with Dami Mong Alam. So if I ask my colleagues, please to also play that. It's also a very short clip, and it was broadcasted on the Tara Peeps channel. Please.
Tara, tara! Tara, Peeps! Ako si Pibay na may talinong taglay. Mga tropa Peeps, nagkita-kita tayong muli dito sa Tara, Peeps! 2023 na, siguradong napagastos tayo nitong mga nagdaang araw. Kaya naman, to the rescue kami dyan. Dahil meron kaming regaling kwento tungkol sa responsableng paghawak ng pera. Makakarelate tayong lahat dito. Kaya naman, tawagin na sina nanay, tatay, ate, at kuya. At sabay-sabay nating tunghayan ang Dami Mong Alam!
Thank you very much. I very much would like to welcome all of you to check out these clips on YouTube. And if you have any further questions about what we've done in the Philippines, please feel free to reach out to any one of us here and some of my visa colleagues. We are really excited with the work that we had done already with our partners, such that we continue to double down and do more. Next slide, please. We are particularly excited the fact that we are now deepening our partnership with Teach for the Philippines. We have been working with them since 2017, like I mentioned. We've reached out to and upskilled more than 1,500 teachers in Teach for Philippines network now in financial education, providing, of course, as you see here, a variety of resources, including financial literacy webinars for teachers, student workshops to improve their own financial literacy as well. And further, we have opportunities also for more engagement and volunteering and support from visa employees with the community programs that Teach for Philippines is conducting. So by reaching over 1,500 teachers and their subsequent student communities, we really felt that there was more room for us to further invest in this effort. And that's why we partnered with Teach for Philippines further through a grant from the Visa Foundation to support their work and continuing to grow their belief in our commitment that young people that need to have financial literacy cannot be doing it in a vacuum. We must have the whole community, their schools and their educators, and the rest of the organizations and businesses around them to be supporting them in that process. And we look forward to doing more with you and also with Teach for Philippines in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. VP Pachian Law of Visa Worldwide PTE Limited. Thank you, ma'am. So one of the innovations made by the private sector as far as financial education and literacy is concerned is going digital. With the advent of modern technology and to keep abreast with the changing demands of the time, Visa makes sure that the message of instilling financial education can be accessed through the social media. We have the YouTube and the FB. So I hope you keep on patronizing that. And also, the collaborative efforts and partnership with other institutions is playing also a very pivotal role in our campaign for financial education. So once again, thank you to the Visa Philippines. This time, ladies and gentlemen, to give us the role of BDO Foundation in promoting financial education for children and young people in the Philippines will be presented to us by the president of the BDO Foundation. Let's give a big hand to Mr. Mario A. Deriquito.
a quick correction. I'm representing what Sir introduced, Sir Mario De Requito, our president for Media Foundation. Happy to be here. I'm the program management head of Media Foundation, overseeing financial education programs. Before anything else, I want to see a show of hands. In this room, who among us learned financial literacy in school? Anyone? We have one. Would you like to share? No, not anymore. Anyway, so yes, I'm from BDO Foundation. Just a little bit of background on our organization. We're the corporate social responsibility arm of BDO Unibank, one of the biggest banks in the country, perhaps the biggest in terms of assets currently. We have three major program pillars. One is disaster response. So in disaster-affected communities all over the country, those hit by typhoons, earthquakes, even armed conflict, we mount relief operations. We provide relief goods to underserved communities. Two is rehabilitation and rebuilding. Also in these disaster-affected communities, we rehabilitate health centers, and we also build school buildings. And finally, which is what is relevant for today's discussion, our program pillar is also financial inclusion. So our colleague from BSP is here. In support of their national strategy for financial inclusion, we currently implement financial education programs. These are actually, we have plenty already. No, I'm not sure if Ms. Marian was already able to discuss earlier. We have a financial education program for OFWs, or Overseas Filipino Workers. This is in partnership with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. We have a program for the armed forces, and this is in partnership with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. We also have a financial education program for government workers, civil servants. This is in partnership with the Civil Service Commission. There are several others which I will not mention anymore, but what is key here is we have a partnership with the Department of Education. In 2018, we signed a memorandum of agreement with the DepEd to implement a financial education program for public schools. Basically, our goal is to help strengthen financial education in the K-12 curriculum. Also, we aim to provide financial education training for teachers and non-teaching personnel. So our initiative, as you see, benefits not just students, but also teachers and non-teaching personnel. So what exactly do they learn? I will enumerate. These are saving, budgeting, financial planning, avoiding scams, debt management, among other things. Yes. So how exactly do we do this? You see there in the slides. I won't go over everything anymore. One is we co-develop content and modules. Two, we also co-develop financial education videos. Three, we conduct training of trainers, or TOTs. And finally, we work with partners for policy issuance. I think what's critical here really is collaboration. We always mention that we co-develop things, so we're happy to do this with the BSP again. Next slide, please. Okay, I won't go over these anymore. These are a lot. These are achievements so far. And what's key is, I think it was already mentioned that there was a policy issuance. This is DepEd Order number 22 series of 2021. This is essentially to make the effort sustainable. We have developed 10 financial education videos. 5 of these are for teachers, 5 are for students. You can view this on YouTube, and actually we have already 26 total FinEd videos, which you can all view on YouTube. Again, these are all co-developed with the BSP and other partners. what else? 15 videos on early numeracy. Just yesterday, no, I was in a meeting with Knowledge Channel Foundation. If you're familiar with Knowledge Channel, they develop educational content, which is broadcast on the Kapamilya channel. We're hoping to develop 15 videos on early numeracy, and this is for grade 1. We're really excited that by the end of this year, all 15 will be done already. Okay. So I won't go each achievement anymore in the interest of time. Anyway, although we believe in Video Foundation, we have achieved quite a lot in the past, but in the future, we think there's still more to be done, which is why we continue to collaborate with the BSP, the DepEd, and other partners. And we want to help improve financial literacy in the country, contribute to the development of financial literacy in the Philippines. And our ultimate goal really is to support nation building, same with the other countries. So happy to answer questions if there are any later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My apology a while ago, Sir Lawrence Kasman. I introduced the one that he should represent. But then anyway, let's give him another big hand. Another noteworthy to consider, no, for the BDO Foundation, like any other organizations here as in our panel, that they promote financial education, financial literacy through collaboration and partnership, especially with Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, because they are directly regulated by the BSP, and so therefore their partnership is that really strong, and promoting financial education is foremost in their advocacy. And also, as innovations, they also join the social media in promoting financial education. So before we proceed to our question and answer portion, why not give another big round of applause, please, to our esteemed speakers here, showcasing the best practices of these organizations in promoting financial literacy in the Philippines and, of course, in our neighboring country, the Lao. Okay? So I have here some of possible questions to be given to the panelists, and later you can also raise your questions or issues and concerns to our panel. So the first question to our panelists for our representative from Lao People's Democratic Republic, Ma'am Bunta. In Lao context, what are the major challenges that you had encountered when supporting Central Bank and Ministry of Education in implementing financial education program? So the challenges that our speaker had faced in implementing this program.
Hello. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah, of course, when we do everything, yeah, so we have a challenge also, even the our operation, some like provide loan and saving. Every time that we have a question from the client and people like microfinance is safety for us, something like this. So for now, we doing education, financial with education for the for children and young is more challenge from us. So that's why 10 years ago we try to make the better the new what we can say the different type from learning, because we partner with the Ministry of Education. So we asking to have information from government, something like this, to go to the school, go to the area that we have present what we are, why we doing something like this, because we have seen that microfinance, they always thinking like if you go to school, you expect something behind from your financial interesting for the children, something like this. So we try to show them that what we are doing in the Anfratun program, and with the school come to EMI, they have a good thing for after we implement the module, the school can know how to do the activity, what they want, what they need, something like this. We teach them, and then they can explain to their friend and the family, the parent. They come to us school, but this is say for my crew, my kids, something. So after we doing for after 5 years, we can confirm that this program we can implement that is good for the children, and in the future we will have work more with Bank of Laos and another MFI to promote this one, and we think that this program will be go to more the school right now. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So I guess everybody agrees, no, that the primordial concern in teaching financial education basically is to to teach the children itself, no, what the program is all about, but in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and discussing the importance of the Aflatun program in Lao. They are looking forward that in the next few years, this program that deals on financial education and literacy will bear fruit and be successful in their country. So thank you very much for that, ma'am. So at this point, we also have a question to Natco, to Engineer Paraguya. So we understand that NATCO has been working with the Department of Education in the last 8 years on integrating financial education in public school nationwide. So what is the most impact areas for children and young people because of this program?
So I think for the partnership with the Department of Education, we started in 2008. So it's 16 years of partnership. Uh, I am really interested. I would like to relate that question to the question raised by BSP. How do we measure the effectivity of the financial education? And maybe for us in cooperatives, because we focus on the self-help and the savings. One of our indicators would be the number of children who save. So that's why we monthly we would ask our partner cooperatives to report to us how many children are now joining the movement, how many have maintained their deposits with the cooperative. So it's a very simple indicator, but that is not all. If you look at Aflatun, that's not the only thing that it's looking at. It's not just financial, but it's also about social education, resource management, and even the environmental side. So that is difficult to measure. What we're doing right now is that the youth committee and the youth programs, we are promoting the participation of the children and youth in our agricultural initiatives like the gardening. They have their own podcast on several issues, mental health, and Sophie and their team would do that with just a facilitator. So we, outside of what we're doing with DepEd, we do many activities as a network and with the respective cooperatives. And it is now up to the respective cooperatives to also make their own activities to enhance the participation of the youth. But Really, I was thinking with all of the countries now integrating financial education, we would like to see how this will improve the savings ratio of the country. Philippines would, I was not there when you were talking, but I remember we have one of the lowest in terms of the deposits. Yeah. Yes. Savings ratio. So I think we need to define some indicators to see where we'd like to monitor the impact of financial education now that it's integrated and even with the cooperatives.
Thank you very much for that, Engineer Paraguya. But then to look, if you remember the presentation a while ago, that is for NATCO alone, the active savers is already reaching almost 500,000. So maybe the long-term impact is yet to be known, but with the presence of this 500,000 strong young savers, we can very well say that the goal of NATCO in instilling financial literacy and financial education to the children is already getting towards that attainment of that objective. So soon, we will be looking forward that most of our youngsters in the Philippines and even abroad, no, will be participating in financial inclusion program of the government. Okay? So I have also here a question to our BP, Ma'am Pachan Lo. For Visa, we have just known that Visa awarded Teach for Philippines a grant this morning. So our question is, what is the long-term goal of Visa to achieve Philippines?
Thank you for that question. I think it's important to understand the context behind why such a grant to support the Teach for the Philippines is important. I mentioned earlier that we have a whole variety of resources and tools to drive financial literacy, but the way that these tools can reach the community we work with, whether it's young people or whether they're families and teachers, is that we have to do this in partnerships. And it's not only in partnership with nonprofits and community organizations, we also partner with private sector organizations. So if you look at where financial literacy support from Visa is showing up, sometimes it's sitting on platforms that belong to financial institutions. It could be sitting on platforms that belong to MFIs or to e-commerce platforms or to other kinds of partners. And it is important that these are the network, the ecosystem of support that will be involved in the work in order for financial literacy to reach its intended outcome. And so when we fund partners like Teach for the Philippines, which is a multi-year partnership that we have supported them in, it's recognizing that they have the opportunity and the networks to reach out to all of these different parties that are helping youth succeed in their communities. So it's not only just the teachers, but it's also everybody else that is involved in the education of the young person, so that we can also strengthen their capabilities when it comes to financial education. In order for financial educators to be strong enough to empower young people in financial literacy, we have to work in this ecosystem manner. The long-term goal is, as Ms. Divya previously alluded to, we may want to look at metrics that could that will make sense for the government and for the country in terms of what is success that you're driving for when it comes to financial inclusion. It could be savings, it could be income generation, it could even be other forms of entrepreneurial or productive and value-adding activities that you may be looking for. All of these metrics will not only just be determined by any one party, like a funding party like Visa, but also in partnership with all the other stakeholders that are looking for that common goal. So we look forward to developing that, but certainly at a very minimum, we want to see that there is a partnerships approach where the whole ecosystem that supports young people are working together.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I guess that it is very clear, no? The long-term goal is to bring together all the stakeholders of the financial education ecosystem. Because as one of our presenters this morning have said, we cannot do this alone. It must be a collaborative efforts of all the agencies, whether private sector and the government sector, in order to bring financial education and financial literacy to the people. So thank you very much, Visa. This time, for BDO, I guess we have still one here, sir. No? So we want to hear from BDO, what do they think the main contribution and role of private sector, like the BDO Foundation, to support the advancement of financial education for children and young people?
Hello. There's actually a lot, no. BDO Foundation is one of many corporate foundations that are members of this organization called the League of Corporate Foundations. For now, I can only speak for us. One project we're really excited about, which is not just for the youth, is that we're currently developing an e-learning course with total of 9 modules that will cover topics such as saving, budgeting, financial planning, consumer protection, etc. We're really excited about this because, fingers crossed, in 2024, we hope to launch all 9 modules. We're actually in the process of finalizing the first 3 modules. Essentially, what you can hope to expect is when you turn on your cell phones, log on to a certain website, you can actually take a financial literacy course. There are after course assessments. You can assess whether you're doing good, whether you're financially literate already. This is work in progress. So I cannot speak on behalf of the other corporate foundations. We're friends with them. We know they're also doing a lot in terms of knowledge sharing, training of trainers. But personally, and for us, BDO Foundation, we're really committed to this e-learning financial education course, which we hope to release really soon, and we hope to share with not just our target audiences with the partnerships, no, but with the general public. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you very much for that from our representative from BDO Foundation. The time check is, we still have 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I have one question left here. This is addressed to anyone or anybody who wanted to answer this. No? So to all the panelists. So we have microfinance institution, cooperative federation, bank and financial institutions. To our panelists, how do you think the best strategy to work in collaboration with other private sectors in order to avoid yung duplication and reinventing the wheel? So who want to answer that? Kasi mas malapit sa akin si Ma'am Engineer Paraguya. Very near to me. Yes, Ma'am Sylvia?
Actually, that was also in my mind, that there are a lot of modules, learning materials, BDO has, Aflatun has, Visa has, and then we all want to integrate this in the school curriculum. Of course, DepEd is not here, but I would think that BSP is the one playing that role to help the integration with the Department of Education. So I think there will come a time that we did that in 2008 when we talked to DepEd that let's integrate the financial education in the curriculum. But now that there is already an order that it is integrated, then more work now will be done in terms of training the teachers. And I think there are still a lot of teachers who need to be trained. Maybe we'll just have to find for example, BDO, you train this group of teachers, NATCO will work with this group of teachers, because the module is there. So, but then the second part there is the movement towards more digitalization, because if these are now, of course, you have the hard materials which can be converted into, and in the end, it's how it will be practiced. I think the competition now will be on how you make that applied by those who are who have heard about financial education. So in our case, because we are cooperatives and we are there nearer to the schools, maybe we have an advantage, but the children now are high tech. So maybe we would like to ask for help on how we can be assisted in our digitalization, so that like BDO, when we educate our children, it will also be available via the mobile. And then they will also have access to their accounts via mobile. So that's a catching up for the cooperatives.
I have to agree with Ms. Sylvia that the important point here is to recognize that financial literacy is not just financial literacy. Financial literacy sits within a larger life life series of actions that we want to conduct. So whether it's your transactions, whether it's your savings, whether it's your work, whether it's your family welfare. So there are different things that come along with financial literacy. And perhaps one way to avoid duplication is for us to know where is the good space for us to go. That, as you say, some organizations may be suitable and has a stronger opportunity and capability to train teachers. Others may be in a better position to train, for example, field agents or bank officials and bank staff, or even MFI staff as well. Some will be much better placed to train social workers and community organizations. We've started a partnership in China, for example, where the goal is actually to enable and upskill all of these touch points that are themselves engaging with all the different parts of lives in the community that can be affected by financial literacy. So social workers, even farming agents, and et cetera, et cetera. So these are opportunities for financial literacy to go to the next level. And if we find opportunities to have engagements like these, where we can learn about what each other is doing, then we also know we don't have to step into the same place. And that way we can find ways to collaborate better.
That's an interesting issue, that issue of duplication. For us in the financial and banking industry, our income generating counterparts, the branch banking, consumer banking, they're all very competitive with other financial institutions. But believe it or not, for us corporate foundations, we're all friends. We're friends with BPI Foundation, with Metrobank Foundation, with the other banking foundations. That's an advantage because that way we're able to coordinate. Like, we know what BPI Foundation is doing, and since they're doing that, to avoid duplication, we won't engage in something close to that or very similar. We know that BPI Foundation is heavily engaged in higher education. That's their target audience for financial inclusion, and that means that they're already there. We won't interfere. We won't have any interventions anymore in that space, and vice versa. They won't anymore implement anything in the areas where we are already implementing interventions, which is with depth ed for the younger kids, for elementary and high school. So yeah, that's how we avoid duplication for our projects.
Yes, can we hear also from Lao? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now I can learn many things from you, especially in every sharing today. I know that as my private sector, my microfinance in Laos, I think I cannot doing alone in my country. I will have more improve about how to develop the tool, the material about the digital Thai e-learning, and also more cooperate with another to have more successful in the future. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, no, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The discussion is getting more interesting, but due to time constraint, we have a very engaging panel of speakers here. Why not give them another big round, please, of applause? And that concludes our session number 2, the private sector's best practices of financial education program to children and young people. So thank you very much. I'm once again Jojo Aliasco of the Cooperative Development Authority. We would like also to take this opportunity from the Cooperative Development Authority for involving us in this Global Money Week 2024. We have participated, if I can remember, two years ago, but this is the time that we have really joined the week-long celebration. So it's from the CDA, our sincere appreciation. So with that, this concludes our session. Once again, good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much to our resource speakers and to our moderator, Mr. George Aliasco. Thank you so much. We have heard inspiring sharing from the private sectors on how they have implemented in their own creative various ways, increasing the financial knowledge and skills of our children. And as our resource speaker said a while ago, this is also our way to implement sustainable goal number 17, partnership for the goals. And now we would like to award the certificate of recognition to our resource speakers and moderator. And this will be awarded by Assistant Secretary Luzerinco from the Cooperative Development Authority, and the token of appreciation from our friends from Visa. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat po. Thank you. We would like also to acknowledge our online participants joining us since this morning from Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Myanmar, Pakistan, India, Botswana, Morocco, Kyrgyzstan, Jordan, Yemen, Uganda, the Gambia, Sri Lanka, Kenya, DRC, Zambia, China, Mozambique, Malawi, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, Yemen, Colombia, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Ecuador, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Tunisia, and many more. Thank you so much. So we are indeed global in our celebration of the Global Money Week. For our third session this afternoon, we'll hear from our nonprofit partners. Our nonprofit partners are bringing in much needed expertise in various fields of child and youth development, ensuring a holistic and inclusive approach to development. The session is to be moderated by Asia Regional Coordinator of Aflatoon International, Yaling Chow. Let's welcome with a round of applause, Yaling Chow.
So hi everyone, good afternoon to Philippine audience, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to our online audience. So welcome to our friendly session of the day. I hope you are still awake. Yeah? If not, there's some coffee, but if not, like bear with me for another 45 minutes. So we will be done soon and I'm sure your spirit will be uplifted by our marvelous speakers. So here I'd like to invite our speakers. First, Varvan Panganiban, if I pronounce it right. Sorry, who is the program field officer from Children International Manila. Welcome to stage. And second speaker, I'd like to invite our good partner, another good partner, Renny Tan from Cambodia. Renitan is the country manager for Cuba, Cambodia. Please get a big pose. And the next one, I'd like to invite Brian Larish, which is CEO for Make It Right movement from Malaysia. And the final, the last, it's been waiting for long. I'd like to welcome our speaker, travel all the way from Indonesia, Sriyadi, who is a program director from Lagas, Indonesia. Welcome to the stage. So as we know that the world is rapidly like changing, right? And it's getting more and more complex than ever, at least much more complex than my time before. So we know that it is more important than ever to have like a social financial education for the children and the youth to get along and get ahead in the life. So as we heard from the morning until now from the youth, from the stakeholders and actors from the both public and the private sectors, we realize like the promoting social and financial education is a teamwork, right? It's not no man work, not one man work, and it's also a very long journey. So in this journey, a civil society partner also play a very crucial role in filling the gap, in finding the innovation ways, and also to addressing the challenge and working to help to work together with other sector towards the goal. So today, my name is Xiaolin. So I currently work for the African International. I know you have heard a lot. African. What exactly the African? Honestly, I don't want to joke. This is a joke I would say, like during my first interview with African, I asked, what is African? So basically, African is an organization. We're also a nonprofit organization based in Netherlands. So currently, unlike other organizations, we don't do implementation ourselves. Instead, we work with our local partner, all those marvelous like speakers here. We have a curriculum from social financial education curriculum from age 3 to 24 years old up. So we provide the curriculum and we work with the local partner who are interested in promoting the social and financial curriculum. So far in the world, we have 327 partners, including 28 government partners, and in 103 countries. And in Asia alone, we have 68 partners, including the partner from private sectors, public sectors, and the nonprofit sectors in 16 countries. So it's good. It's very honored to have our partner from Philippines, from Malaysia, from Cambodia, Indonesia to share their enriched experience, how they introduce social and financial education and promote in their country context. And they've been promoted through different mentality and different diverse educational, even community settings. So should we start? And so each of our speaker will give in a story, share their story from the field for 5 to 10 minutes. And then we will have a discussion about some guiding questions, and we will open the floor to each other. So should we start from the host? And Marvin, do you want to share yours?
Thank you very much. So to start with, so my name is Marvin, and I am from Children International, a non-stock and non-profit international non-government organization here in the Philippines. So just to provide you with a brief background, so the participants of the Aflatun program in our agency are children and youth ages 9 to 18. And these children are coming from families having a monthly income of $200 and below. So that's approximately 11 and 12,000 pesos and below. So for the context of our foreign guests, that amount, which is 11 to 12,000 pesos, is below the minimum wage here in the Philippines. So next slide, please. So to start with, one of our best practices in implementing the Aflatun program is we try to bridge the access between the participants in the program by providing them with handheld devices for those who don't have any, and of course, by providing them with load credits for them to be able to attend our online synchronous sessions. But of course, should the conflict arise in schedule, in terms of academic and personal commitments, we also publish self-paced learning materials in our Facebook groups for them to review and go back to. Okay. Next is we integrate some of the emotional well-being concepts in implementing Aflatun program. So needless to say, the pandemic has been cruel for most of us, if not for all of us, right? But cruel in terms of achieving daily material needs up to the overcoming of mental and psychological hurdles in our daily lives. Thus, we deemed it necessary to include some of the emotional well-being concepts, as I've mentioned earlier, such as self-care habits, self-calming techniques, and mental health awareness in our sessions. Okay. Furthermore, next slide, please. Yeah. Similar to most of you, we also provide guidance for our participants by providing them with tips in designing their own individual business plans. So we also allow them to practice these learnings by giving them a very small amount of money that will serve as their seed capital amounting to 1,000 pesos. So that is around 20 US dollars. So I know that in this day and age, this amount of money is quite small, especially for a business. But we believe in our organization that this will only serve as a jolt for them, no? And their creativity will find its way to grow this seed capital. So after they have facilitated their own individual business plans, of course, we try to assess every business plan and recognize the most successful business implemented in their own communities. So successful not only in terms of financial aspect, but also in terms of the social aspect of how much this project have impacted their neighbors, their peers, and also their communities. So one way that we try to recognize is we also incentivize these participants by providing them with additional capital, or in Filipino, puhunan, right? So we provide them with additional puhunan for them to be able to continue and also to share to other friends about their business plans and business engagements. And of course, due to the flexible nature of online learning sessions, we also engage with their caregivers, not only for us to be able to encourage them to support their child, but also for us to be able to impart lessons on basic principles of financial management. So in our agency, we believe that these things, together with the support of GOs or government organizations, NGOs, CSOs, will somehow enable a child to absorb and fully put into existence the basic principles of financial management, not only for the benefit of themselves, but moreover for the benefit of other people. So that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. So now we hear the story from Philippines. So should we move through the other countries? May I invite Rani from Cambodia to share their stories?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, because my voice is loud, but not sweet, noisy. Yes. So to start my presentation, the first, I want to answer the question to the young girl this morning that she is good at saving money. So not only saving money, saving material that need to be included into saving. And save is not to be rich and not enough. You have to invest. Yes. But not selling girlfriend or boyfriend, you may have more. Okay, so let me start with my presentation today. It is my first time to come to Philippines and my first time to join Global Money Week. It is very excited and I'm very happy and grateful for the opportunity. I'm Rani from Kufa, Cambodia. I am a country manager. Yes. And I would like to introduce about the integrating financial education in the Cambodia school curriculum that we support. Our partner here is the National Bank of Cambodia, and we work along with the ADB and Ministry of Education. Yeah, so the project has been started in 2019 and finished in 2021. Refer to this number, you may remember what happened during the time, and we have a big challenge. Did you know what happened in 2019, early 20? Yes, COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, everyone was experiencing about that. And KUFA implemented this project. We work with the National Bank and Ministry of Education. And the grade that we embed our financial literacy is grade 4 and grade 7. So in each grade, we have 4 subjects to include financial literacy. These 2 grades were selected by detail and high decision making from the delegation in order to include this subject, because in Cambodia, you know, some students, they will leave school at grade 9. That's why we want to include the financial literacy in grade 4 and grade 7, so they can bring in the financial literacy knowledge when they left school. So at least they have some knowledge before they left. We worry about that. That's why we only have the budget availability for these 2 subjects, for these 2 grades. So this is the reason that we choose this. Yes. Next, please. Yes, and in school pilot program that KUFA have support, we have provided a teacher capacity building program. It means that we need to capacitate the teacher in order to be fully capability to provide a financial literacy. If you don't know yourself, you are not a mobile one, how can you integrate it to your student? So the teacher is the first side in order to integrate the financial literacy knowledge before they bring in the knowledge to the students. And next, we have to do the translation. As you know, the consultant, they work from outside as an English language, and Cambodia is very different from Filipino. They don't speak English. If they want to speak English, they have to learn, they have to spend a lot of time to learn English. You are so lucky you speak 2 languages. It's easy for you. But for Cambodia, we need to translate from English to Khmer in order to provide to the student. And we get the individual student feedback from a total of 615 students in order to feedback to the material that we have provided. Besides that, we also have the group discussion with 60 teachers that receive the financial literacy pilot test in order to feedback what is the material about, how is the material for them, what do they understand, what their view, and then they can provide a feedback. It doesn't mean that we are the one who provide the curriculum and then we put it. You have to take it, you have to study it, you have to teach it. Not that way. So we try to integrate the understanding or the advice or the view of the teacher to integrate into the our financial literacy program. And we also have a 30-day observation that conducted by the national and international expert from KUFA in order to monitor the programs. Next, please. I think this is not the right slide one. So let me give you some good practice from the program that we have been doing, even though this is not the right one. So giving to the project focus on the 2 key areas. This is the best practice that we have implemented, is the teaching and the content. So what is the content that you are going to teach? And then how can you teach? It is very simple that if you want to cook, you have a big fat fish. And then what type of food that you will cook? And then if you know that cost, how can you cook that? So this is a very best practice for us in this project. And the content related to the integration of financial literacy. Yes, with how the content was taught, focus on providing teacher and the guidance to impart the knowledge to the student, as I have mentioned before. So this imparting of the knowledge had two components. The first one, what the teacher would teach and how the teacher would teach the materials. So when we produce the material, and then we need to know how can the teacher teach that material to the student. That's why we prepare. So the answer the participant come here today. We come from Cambodia by Philippine Airlines, but you arrive the workshop venue. But the in concise dialogue between the National Bank and the Ministry of Education. Okay, this need would reflect focus on ensuring that there is a clear understanding of what is the requirement by the NBC, what they require, and then how is the Ministry of Education going to address on that requirement. Second, the need to ensure that all the documentation related to the project providing before the commencement of the project. Like you prepare this workshop, you contact the participant in advance, you prepare the agenda, you prepare the concept note and invitation. So it's the same way that we need to implement. And the third one, while NBC focus on the content area, there is a need to ensure that Ministry of Education has a strong influence associated with the teaching aspect. Because NBC is not the one who provided teaching method or teaching pedagogy. It's the Ministry of Education. What type of teaching methodology that you are going to apply? Teacher training, teacher-centered approach or student-centered approach. So this is have to come from the Ministry of Education. So this is the best practice and lesson learned from the program that we have to embed the financial literacy into the school curriculum program of Cambodia. So beside that, finish there, but I want to share a few points from KUFA. Yes, KUFA implement 3 main projects, all our projects related to financial literacy. So we have a question that it no matter how much you earn, but how much you can save. Okay, that's why KUFA implement a children financial literacy program that we provide the financial literacy knowledge to the school student at the rural area. We implemented in 3 schools with over 1,000 students that receive the financial literacy training from our expert financial literacy. So this in order to equip students with the saving habit from a very young age. So it doesn't mean that they have to sell $100 at the same time, but to build up, to leverage their knowledge on saving. At least they have something in mind. As the question our friend asked just now, who study financial literacy at school? Maybe only a few of us study. That's why KUFA want to bring this opportunity to our students by providing financial literacy knowledge, financial literacy program to our school at the rural area. Second program, if they are already old and left school, they don't really have the opportunity to receive that. So we have another program called ASPI that provide financial literacy to the community. The challenge is the youth, because the youth already migrate for the income. So we only meet, most of them is only the mom who stayed home, take care of the children, and then they study that. This is our challenge, but we try to reach out to the community to study financial literacy. And also we implement another project called CISO4G to equip financial literacy to the AC in Cambodia. We work with 21 agriculture cooperatives across 3 provinces in Cambodia as well. So in short, Kufa is the one who expert, and mission is to provide the financial literacy inclusive to the people in Cambodia. And we are happy to implement phase 2 of the financial literacy embedding to school curriculum, and we are ready, and hopefully we can support another phase 3 for the National Bank. Thank you so much for attention.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you. We have heard the example from Philippines and Cambodia. You will see like promoting social financial education can be through different mentality, right? Can be self-paced learning or in-person learning, can be used in the community setting, in the formal school setting. And now we want to hear the stories and the example from our speaker, Brian, from Malaysia. Do you want to share your stories?
Hi, Mabuhay. It's good to be back after 4 years being away from the Philippines. And I think it's good to see some familiar faces here. So my name is Brian Larish, and I am representing 2 organizations for Malaysia. Actually, the 2 only organizations who are partners of Aflatun. So I am the CEO of the Make It Right movement, which is the CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility arm of the largest private legal school in Malaysia. And we have a consortium of 5 universities and colleges. And the second organization is Humana Child Aid Society in Sabah, which basically provides education to children on palm oil plantations. And interestingly enough, the majority of our children, 99%, are non-Malaysian. Majority, 95%, used to be Indonesian. That number has now dropped to 70%. By the way, my slides, just for reference, I'm not a slide user anyway, but since I was asked to provide slides, here you are. And now it's 70% Indonesian children and 28% Filipino children. And unfortunately, due to politics, there is representation of the Indonesian government very strongly in Sabah, but very poor representation from the Filipino government. So we have a huge issue now with Filipino children coming into Sabah, but not being educated properly. And it's a big, big, big issue, which, perhaps I would like to talk with anybody here who has the capacity to work with me and how we can provide a balanced education for Filipino children in Sabah. There are almost 200,000 of them in Sabah at the moment. So Humana Child Aid Society is not allowed to provide schooling for these children. As you well know, every country has got its image. The most protected issue in any country is the education curriculum. Every country is very proud of it, and they do not like outsiders interfering with it. It's a fact. I've taught in 91 countries, and I can tell you it's quite difficult to get into any education curriculum in any country in the world. And Malaysia is no exception. And especially when the children are not of Malaysian passport holders or identity card holders, when they're Indonesian, when they're Filipino, we are not allowed to hold a school for them. We are only allowed to have learning centers where we can only provide 4 subjects. And those subjects are determined by the Education Ministry of Malaysia. We're not allowed to stray. Fortunately for us, because we are an NGO, we can cheat a little bit and integrate what we want to integrate, and we have integrated Aflatun to a large degree. And the only way we can get away with it is the fact that we also provide the same lessons for the government school children for free. We provide financial education where possible, and we integrate it into the neighboring schools as a form of also encouraging our displaced kids, because the children, when they don't have passports, are subject to hassle from the, from the police, from the customs department. All sorts of, government officials tend to frighten the children. In fact, it's not uncommon when the children don't have papers. Every time there is an operation, as they call it, the children run into the jungle for days. So it's a big issue. It's a big issue. Then, like I said, we have about 12,000 kids every year that we educate. They're all on the plantations. How do we sustain this? We make the plantations pay for it, right? Fortunately, there's something called the RSPO, Table Sustainable Palm Oil, where you cannot sell your palm oil unless your palm oil is certified. And one method of certification, or one component of certification, is that you must provide education to the children in the plantation. So that's our leverage. And we charge a certain amount of money, but we call it a donation, because the moment you charge money, you are taxed as an NGO. So there is multiple issues. We pay almost $200,000 in tax every year as an NGO. Can you imagine? You know, and it's difficult. It costs a lot of money. So that is what Aflatun is, as you can see, and it's very interesting because the even though we are all in ASEAN, the diaspora of the thinking of the Indonesian children is quite different from the thinking of the Filipino children. Culturally, there's a lot of similarities, but culturally, there's a lot of differentiation. You can see that the children that come from our areas in Sandakan, which is mainly Filipino, they're very keen on cultural activities. They love dancing, they love singing. You know, it's not like the Indonesian kids don't love it; they love it too, but not as much as the Filipinos by far. It's more fun in the Philippines, as they say. Yeah. So you know, so we have to deal with these kind of things now. And unfortunately, Humana is also only given a license to teach primary kids, because the idea is you study in Humana till you're 12, and then you go back to Philippines or you go back to Indonesia. But tell a child who's been living in Sabah for 12 years, 15 years, they don't understand the concept of being Filipino or Indonesian. All they know is I was born in Sabah, so I'm Sabahan, though they don't have any papers, right? Children don't understand nationality. That's another problem that we have. So we are now trying to discuss with the ministry to give us permission to teach secondary children. Now, with the Make It Right movement, what we do is we also provide financial literacy, but we focus on social entrepreneurship, and we focus on social entrepreneurship for the disabled. I don't know how many of you noticed just now, I walk with a walking stick. I'm officially disabled, and I employ 3 blind staff and someone with cerebral palsy. And we use these staff, that means disabled for the disabled. Because I can tell you, there is nothing more irritating than an able person coming and telling me, do well, when you've never experienced my disability. When you don't experience what I feel, don't tell me how to feel it. You know what I mean? That's the reality. So as a disabled person with my blind colleagues, we go out and teach the disabled community how to be social entrepreneurs, how to be independent, and how to do employability with AFLA youth. And that has been our biggest success. And even though we are a private limited company under the college, we have managed to raise almost $2 million in grants. In fact, we are the first organization in Asia, a non-medical organization, to get a grant from WHO to do mental health for the disabled, right? So it's a matter of identifying what is your selling point, how do you become unique and different from everybody else, and how do you sell that unique point of view, and where are the gaps in society that needs to be fulfilled, right? Generally, people are not opposed to developing the disabled. They just don't know how to develop them at all. We focus a lot on autism. We deal with children with autistic and those on the spectrum, because again, that's another forgotten area of society. How are these children going to be financially independent when they're 30 years old, when they are young adults, when they've never been educated, first of all, naturally, with normal education, let alone financial literacy? So it's a big issue to look into, the education of the disabled, right? So I stop at that. I leave you with the idea of thinking a little bit about the forgotten portion of society, the disabled community, and how we can educate them from a financial literacy. Thank you. Kelly.
Thank you, Brian. So you will see like African curricula is really flexible and very open, so it's been applied in many different kind of settings, and not only the like non-official, like the student with no paper, also in the city area people and the rural area as well, and also applied into the emergency setting, informal, non-formal, informal school setting. But now I want to move to Indonesia to share their experience. Suryati?
Thank you, Helen. Thank you everyone for having me here, and selamat sore, magandang hapon. Yeah. Again, my name is Suryadi from Legdis Nusantara. We start piloting Aflatun program in 2009, part of Lapis Outs Aid project with private school. Mostly we work with private school and in rural area until 2015, also with the House Aid project. And 2011, 2015, we scale up Aflatun program and we piloting Aflatun for the secondary school. And 2016 to 2020, we try to sustain the impact, the existing program with the existing school and network in 9 provinces. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our current program. I would love to say a program than a project, because project would come to an end, but the program, we try to keep rolling it out and sustain the program. The module that we use for our current program is Aflatin Plus. Actually, the improvement of Aflatin. It's called Aflatin Plus because we have more insight and material on gender, and we have also sexual and reproductive health for young people. I think it also a good insight, a good knowledge for young people to know about that material, about the mental issues, health, and sexual educations. And also the second plus is because we have more practical knowledge about entrepreneurship. That's what we call a Latin plus. And what I want to share with you is the integrations of Latin Plus into local content or project-based learnings and extracurricular by provincial and district education office. Because we are non-private sector, we really want to integrate Aflatun curriculum into national level, but we already succeeded with Aflatot. But for other module, Aflatun and Aflatin and Aflayud, we trying to have it on national level. But I think, as I inform when we have a discussion with director of secondary school, that actually the school belong to provincial education office. So without MOU with Ministry of Education, actually, if they say yes to your program, you can implement the program in provincial and district level. And that is what we do actually in 2020 to this month. In West Kalimantan especially, we implement the program before we have MOUs with Directorate of Secondary Education, because it take 1 year to have the MOUs. And you know, as the Aflatun and NGOs, that we cannot wait 1 year. We need to implement it this year. So our key person from the Directorate of Education, Secondary Education, told us that you can communicate directly with provincial education office. If they say yes, so you can implement the project. And we have a huge support from provincial education office in West Kalimantan, and they are willing to have Aflatin Plus module as local content and a project-based learning and extracurricular for our pilot school in 5 districts in West Kalimantan. And as a result, because we start involving them from the beginning, from planning the implementation in the discussion of the program implementation, that they feel that it is not our program, but I mean, it is not like this program, but it's our program. It seems that they feel the sense of belonging is also happen there, because we involve them from the beginning, from discussion, socialization, designing the approach, the implementation stages, and also we involve them in the curriculum contextualization, because